Good day, everybody. Welcome to a Fanvil joint webinar with Epygi. My name is Tommy Lee. I'm the VP of Sales for North America. Along with me is Mario Corello, CEO of Epygi Technology. We'll talk a little bit about our joint partnership, which has actually lasted for probably several decades. We've been around for a long time. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit more about some house cleaning. What I want to do is a soft copy is available of this presentation that we're going to present in the materials download. So if you go to your client and click on materials, there should be a PDF version of this presentation for you to download and have for your future reference. It's a great copy because there's lots of references for support, documentation, etc. Then, of course, both Mario and I are available in real time as well. Most of the presentation will go on as usual. It's meant to be brief but very informative, and both of us will stay behind to answer any questions. Should you have any questions, I would encourage you to go on to the questions and put on whatever questions you want, and both Mario and I will be able to address any questions that you might have. So with that said, over the past, quite a number of years, Fanvil has been a partner with Epygi, and Epygi is really provides a solution that is both on-prem as well as cloud-based solutions, and it's a great balance when you want to have solutions that fit in both environments. And their effort to really diversify beyond just business applications and getting into healthcare and education broadcasting, it fit into a lot of the offerings that Fanvil provides. As you know, we sort of touch the partners where they sort of, where the rubber meets the road, but make a lot of compatibility issues with Epygi, so that we want to make sure that our compatibility stretches out so that our integrators spend the least amount of time in the field putting together our joint solutions. So what I want to do is introduce Mario and let him take you on a couple of slides, and following that, I will go ahead and provide some indications myself to describe a little bit about Fanvil, and we'll both stay around for some additional questions that you might have. So with that said, Mario, if you have the mic, feel free to move forward.
All right, thank you, Tommy. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks everyone for joining us today. What we're going to have is a short presentation intro of Epygi. Many of you may know us, some of you, we might be new to you. But the idea is to stimulate your brain a bit, and then if there's more interest on your end, come over and call us, and we'll be happy to assist you. So essentially, Epygi is an American company. We started in the year 2000. Everything has been built from the ground up. It's about 20 employees or so in 3 locations. We based our products on proprietary software and hardware. We did not use open source like Asterisk code manager engines to do the product. So that gives us the ability to be able to, modify the product a lot faster and add features and why not, compared to having to use an open source base. We've been doing gateways, PBXs for about 25 years. We started with a Quadro line, moved it to the QX line, which we're selling today. And then about, 5 years ago, we started doing cloud services, particularly the cloud PBX, what we call ECQX. We started a small to medium business, which is a good core of what we sell today. But now we have seen verticals, contact centers. We have a good solution, contact centers for voice type activity, hospitality, health, schools, education institutions, assisted living, government, multi-site. In the multi-site site, we see a lot of that. Many people put still on-premise appliances, and they want to join them together with a unified dial plan. We see a lot of activity in that area. So, and like Tommy said, we've been a partner of Fanvil for many, many years, probably close to 20 years by this time. Next. So advantage to the channel, mature, feature-rich, reliable, quality products. Four qualifiers in there that are very important. This is all we do. We don't do endpoints, hardware endpoints. We don't do SIP trunks. We just focus on the PBX and the functionality. And by this stage in the game, the product is very mature. Uh, you don't have to buy maintenance to upgrade the product. You can always get free software maintenance for life. You just got to go to our support portal. You get an account, and you can always download the latest image from there. Many of those images typically have new features added to them. Some features are licensable, but the majority of things that we add there are tweaks and little things here and there that enhance the product. One of the most important things is that next bullet item. You can use your own SIP endpoints and your own SIP trunk. We don't force you to use our phone, nor we are in the SIP trunk business. So it's pretty much a low risk for you and for your customer, because they're going to make a big investment on the endpoint. So there's over 300 phone models that we auto configure. We test them in our lab. We get it from the vendor, test them, publish documentation. If there's any feature that works or doesn't work, it will be there. And it saves you time because you don't have to do that on your own. You pretty much know that if you want to use a Fanvil phone with Epygi, it's going to work. And as a matter of fact, we have over 50 Fanvil models in our list that we have tested, and we'll continue to add more all the time. We do have a software phone called eCall. I'm going to mention a little bit more later. And the next one is also very important. Excellent technical support. We got a great team. I think that's probably the most important part. I mean, these products are complicated. They got a lot of features. You don't have time to read. Call us and we'll help you dimension a solution, an opportunity. We'll help you configure your initial installs from our support team so that you don't spin your wheels unnecessarily. Always improving the product with new features, like I mentioned. Tell us what you want. A lot of the things that we add today are little things that customers want here and there, tweaks. And then if we can do it, we will implement it. Very good price points. We're not the cheapest, but we're in the lower end of the price points for this kind of product. So the bottom line is plenty of margin for you to make money. And of course, the best of both worlds, we got cloud and on-premise products. We do not sell to end users, and we do not publish our price. I mean, you're going to be able to see it on the web, but that's not us. At the end of the day, we go through channels. Now, unless it is a large government installation that comes directly to us, but we do not circumvent the channel in that respect. And the latest is feature-wise, these products have everything they need on the box. From a PBX perspective. So a lot of the new initiatives are all AI powered. It's a very nice buzzword that we hear all the time. And most of it has to do with the ability to transcribe voice, whether it's voicemail transcription or call recording transcription. The latest we've added is conversational. We call it conversational IVR. You being able to, on the auto attendant, be able to say words and navigate an IVR. Know how to press keys. Okay. Next. So additional advantage to the channel, we call it Epygi ecosystem, but essentially what that means is that we're focusing now on interrupt with other solutions, particularly a lot of them cloud solutions. We do show some of them in here. We integrate with MS Teams. We also have integration with CRM, Zoho, Salesforce, and vTiger, if you need that. As far as hotels, property management systems, we integrate with those through a connector, a software interface from another partner. We do have a WebRTC server embedded in some of the products and in the cloud if you want to have WebRTC calls. There's also a Chrome click-to-dial add-on that you can put in. And also the ability to connect via SIP with pretty much any endpoint. And this is important here with Fanvil because not only do they have the phones, but they have other devices, door openers, paging adapters, speakers, and so forth. We do have this cloud monitoring service, but I have a slide on that a little bit later on. And we just added recently also SIP proxy connection service. So that the intention of that is to facilitate a lot of the issues that had to be mitigated when you're connecting remote extensions to PBXs behind your customer firewalls. You know, there's always issues related with opening ports, you know, making the system susceptible to hackers and so forth. So with our proxy service, we really narrow that down and limit that. And the idea is to be able to provide better connectivity and better security. Next. Okay, so as far as appliances, which is what we started years ago, there's about 9 models of PBXs today, so you got plenty to choose from. Some of them, most of them are purely IP, some of them are hybrid with FXS and FXO, and we started for anything from 12 to over 5,000 extensions. So typically we sell the PBX with a base number of extensions, maximum capacity of concurrent calls. So you do get a lot of capacity on the base unit. And then you buy a license to expand on additional extensions and then some other features that we have that are licensed, you know, like call recording, audio conferencing, CRM connectivity, and so forth. And typically all those licenses are permanent. Essentially, they activate the functionality on the box for life, okay? So complete feature set. There's some of them that are a little bit unique, like dial and announce, park and page, more applicable to verticals. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. And they do have an integrated firewall, a lot of security things like SIP intrusion detection and blocking of IP addresses that want to intrude. So there's a certain set of initiatives that we have on the product to make it more secure. And to us, that is very important. They're compact metal boxes with embedded power supplies. They're modular, and they do have low power consumption. And they also have a redundant power capability in some of the units. But in addition to that, you can do system redundancy. It's been an important feature that we have. If you have a larger installation of the appliances and you want to have redundancy of the hardware, you can get a redundancy activated, and these are master-slave synchronized systems. And if something happens to the master, the slave will take over. So we see a lot of interest in selling the systems with that option. And we also have some gateways, FXS, FXO. We also have a T1 or E1, and we're actually adding a few more FXS models to the line, specifically with some of the verticals like hotels and assisted living that sometimes need to use analog phones. Next one. One more. Okay. The Epygi soft phone, we call it Equal, and it is a software application, soft phone for Windows, Android, and iPhone. It has many features, besides the basic stuff of having your directories, whether they're Outlook or PBX, whether you have your history of calls that you can also look at and click to dial out, or you can have your voicemails that you can retrieve, presence if you want to use that. They do have instant messaging among equal users. It's based on SIP protocol, so something very basic. But you can also add SMS to it. So some people want to have WhatsApp. We don't provide termination to SMS on WhatsApp, but we got several carriers that we work with that would allow you to do that. So multiple SIP accounts and line appearances. You can also change your own logo, change the color of the screen if you want. And there is a receptionist console available on the Windows. So for those of you who need a receptionist functionality, in this console, you can see the watch extensions that you want to look into and service, intercept calls, do blind or consultative transfers, and so on, or even send calls in directly to voicemails for people who are busy at any given time. What you see on the right of the screen is a picture of the BLF keys. We have BLF keys on the soft phone, 20 of them, and you can program them to pretty much anything you do on a desk phone BLF, whether they're watch extensions, activate do not disturb, call park, speed dials, activate call recording, or even if you're doing a call center agent log in, log out, you can program those keys for that kind of functionality. Next one, please. All right, in the cloud services, we do have, we call it two products, essentially, or three, but the basic one is a cloud PBX, ECQX. It's a virtualized flavor of what we had on the appliances, so the GUI is the same. So if you play in both fields, on-prem and cloud, you're gonna have only one GUI to learn. We sell it on our own portal. We also sell it through some partners. So it's a epygcloud.com portal where we give you an account and you can order instances and order some options in there, and you pay monthly, no contract. It includes our eCall soft phone. It does include support and maintenance. And of course, you can add whatever SIP endpoint you like, and you add in your own SIP trunk. So this is priced to you. We don't sell that to the end customer. So, as a channel, you buy that from us, you mark it up, and then you resell to them. We do have one particular carrier that resells that on their own portal, and they add SIP trunks, and they also can add billing capabilities. So if you want to alleviate your task of billing to the end customer, they can do that for you for a percentage. And if you're interested in that, we'll definitely hook you up with them. But the bottom line is that it's a growing business for us. A lot of people are going into the cloud. Again, no contract, you pay monthly, and that makes it easier, low risk, and very favorable. All right, next one, please. All right, before we get into this slide, and by the way, we're almost done, I just want to mention that on the cloud, we also have a service called ECMON. It is a management tool for you as a channel to manage your deployments, whether you have on-premise boxes or whether you have the cloud. You're going to be able to see them all in there. You're going to be able to see master units, slave units, redundant units, which, by the way, we do have redundant instances on our cloud. So every time you order an instance for a customer, you're going to see two of them, a master and a slave, that are synchronized in different data centers. So very, very high reliability from that perspective. But if you want to connect our appliances to that ECMON tool, you're going to be able to see them, store, restore configurations, have all kinds of statistics about the PBX, in addition to remotely VPNing to the GUI to make changes. So you don't have to open holes in your customer's router to be able to get to the PBX appliance behind it. You're going to be able to do it through this tool. Okay. Now, on this slide, as I mentioned, we add a lot of models to the list of SIP devices that we support, and latest have been the V62 Pro, V66 Pro, which are very interesting models that Fanvil has. Many more to come. We work with Fanvil directly to be able to get samples on these things and add them into the list once we test them in our labs. As far as the verticals are concerned, here's a list of some of them. Schools are a good market for us, a lot of school districts. There you're going to be able to see paging devices, door openers, which Fanvil has, maybe use of portable Wi-Fi phones, or the new Wi-Fi protocol that gives you a lot of distance. I know Tommy's going to talk about that in a minute. But the idea is that you got devices from Fanvil that suit very well for this vertical. On this Wi-Fi phones will be staff on the school that is always on the move. You can be able to get to them with these portable phones. Same thing happens on assisted living. They use paging devices. In the case of the residents of the assisted living, a lot of these folks need big button phones, phones with pendants, emergency pendants, to be able to call an emergency number, portable Wi-Fi phones for the staff, And in some cases, there's two-wire phones that give you the ability to connect without having to upgrade your cable plan from a Cat 3 to a Cat 5. But then there are features on the PBX that also help you. For example, in a school or on an emergency pendant, you can have a hot panic type extensions created with recordings that you can, if you dial that extension, let's say on a panic button on a school, or if you push the pendant on an assisted living, you can actually notify several extensions about an emergency, whether it is, emergency on room 205, or whether it is a tornado for a general announcement, or you can even page those announcements if the need may be. So the idea is to have that ability to send emergency notifications to staff on certain extensions or on paging for those verticals. The same thing happens with 911 calling in a hotel. You can do a 911 call. We pass the call directly to the PSAP, but sometimes you need to notify reception. The fire department comes in and said, okay, where's the fire? And if you got multiple buildings, you need to identify which building, which floor, and which room. So with the alarm notifications, you can do that. And these are all features embedded in the PBX product that are native to it. You don't have to buy a license for it. But the intention is that with strobes or with horns that you can get from Fanvil, you can enhance that reporting capability. And of course, in the hotel vertical, with the H series of phones that Fanvil has for the rooms, some of them corded, some of them not corded, paging devices, the two-wire phones are also applicable. Or in some of these cases, if you want to use an analog phone like CETES, something very inexpensive, and you want to use analog FXS gateways, we also have them available for you. Security, what I mean by that is you can do OpenVPN or secure SIP TLS between phones and the PBX. We got government installations that are looking into that kind of capability, or sensitive type businesses that want to have that kind of capability of security. We do have that available too. And then lastly, what I call large installations, where you need to have the redundancy I mentioned, where you need to have multiple locations with unified dial plans, maybe a mix of cloud PBX and on-premise PBX. In any case, we can satisfy that with our product. So, but before we leave the topic here, the small business, it's our bread and butter. I mean, we have many installations of small offices, and the product suits itself for that because that's where we started when we started selling Epygi years ago. So, do you have a project? Consult with us. I mean, the idea today is to make you aware of Epygi. Call us. We got a technical team of people that will assist you understanding what you need. We will help you dimension the solution, and we will help you configure the PBX. Okay, so a lot of it is service, and that's what we want. That's a big message today for you: is you can consult with us. We're going to be able to help you out. Next one, please. So in summary, mature, feature-rich, secure quality products, free software maintenance for life. Go to our portal. We have an excellent technical support team. You can use your own SIP endpoint and your own SIP trunk. Low risk, reliable system with embedded redundancy, very good price points, okay, very good margins for you. Mark it up as you like. And if you want to try a demo, we'll do that too, okay? Sales at Epygi.com or 972, here's the phone number. And a lot of the details on the different models and so forth are available on our website. But if you need any assistance, just send us an email to sales. And between myself and Andy and Haran and Levon and Jan and our team are going to get back to you. All right? All right, Tommy, back to you.
Appreciate it, Mario. Thank you very much. As we were talking, a lot of people have put up some very interesting questions, and we'll be more than happy to address those questions right at the end. Just want to provide a quick, brief overview of the Fanvil side of it. Just a quick slide to go over the main things. Similar to Epygi, Fanvil, this is like our 23rd plus year in business. And quite frankly, we have both Fanvil and Linkville as well. But Linkville is sort of a sub brand where we can go ahead and have many of our wireless solutions that Mario had referred to earlier. Obviously, we have several different R&D centers and factories that are located all throughout China and Vietnam. So we do have the capability of being able to produce on the mainland China as well as doing offshore, and we can always switch around when necessary when business needs to. Similar to Epygi, we have local commercial and technical support. I myself is based out of USA, out in the West Coast, out in California. At the same time, we have tech support that's based on the East Coast as well. So, service is something that differentiates Fanvil from a lot of the solutions out there. Obviously, we're a global partner, and we actually sell into 130 countries and regions worldwide. Obviously, much of our technology goes into R&D, all of the different annual references, and quite frankly, one of the big reasons why people choose us is because we know that many people focus in on the business office, but quite frankly, as that business saturates, you're going to end up expanding into other different verticals, which has a special different need of an endpoint because the groundwork that's necessary to be successful there requires different things. And that's where a lot of the Fanvil investment has gone in to really address those really core requirements. And I'm going to touch base on that a little bit moving forward. This is a quick 50,000 foot view as to all the different sectors that Fanvil gets involved in. Obviously, for business IP phones, we have every flavor that you can want. We've introduced a lot of the V series, hotel management phones, a lot of wireless phones that provide what I consider unique to Fanvil, because if you want to differentiate yourself against many of the competition out there, I'm going to reveal some of the solutions that'll differentiate you between us and many of the other competition out there. With hotel IP phone, we actually have a whole set full of desk phones and portable phones that fit in the hotel space. If that's something that you want to merge into, some of the things that I want to go into is that one of our models have broken the barrier. We have now reached a point where we will soon be getting a major Marriott certification on one of the models. And that's great because they've held on to several brands that they've been using all along. And based on the diversification of some of the hotel's applications, they needed a vendor that provided a wide span of things. And we actually have starting off with a hotel model. Once everything gets finalized, I'll be more than happy to announce the model. Obviously, we also provide conferencing headsets and access control solutions as well. Having these solutions and access control in public addresses really enable you to focus in. You can go from a general pocket knife into a suture where you can go ahead and carve out the specific needs of that SIP endpoint. And obviously, one thing that Epygi focused in on is wanting to go ahead and do home and nursing call applications. And I'll talk a little bit about that. Besides being on the menu for Epygi, which makes provisioning all of this equipment very easy for the integrator out in the field, we also have our own device management system as well that can cover all of these products and can cover all these things where they may have it on their menu or not our menu. We have something that will provide a feature set for you to reference. Now, in the case of, hang on, just in case for the V series phones, I made a mistake here. On our V series phones, we actually have the ability to stick with it, but I'll just jump into our long range halo. In our wireless applications, what this wireless application does is it really provides a visual outlook. To give you an idea, you have your standard Wi-Fi phones, which cover typical Wi-Fi base stations, and then you have the blue line, which covers DECT on an outdoor station, which covers up to basically 300 meters. When it comes to our Wi-Fi Halo, it actually covers 700 meters outdoors. So if you have an outdoor application, this will actually cover all of the distance you can meet going outdoors. Now, in an indoor application, we go from 700 meters to 100 meters, which is really 2 times of what DECT can actually cover. What does that really mean to the end user? That means that if you have a restaurant or a small, medium-sized business that could fit inside of a football field, that means that one base station can cover all of the different applications that you can reach within one base station. Not only can it do that, but you can also, gosh, this thing is really set up pretty badly. I apologize for that. When it sets up hang on, let me switch the application so that you can see the slides a little bit better here, because the automation, I made a mistake on this so that I can show it a different way. When you have an application that goes in a much larger application, you can actually go into a multi-cell application. So using the same base station, you can scale into one SMB office. And when that SMB office decides to spread out and decide to accumulate more offices, you could take that same base station and actually scale up and have a multi-cell base station where you can actually couple multiple handsets that reach far wider distances within a campus. We covered it at Fanvil, a large full floor and several different buildings and in our main step, and that could cover that entire office just using 3 main base stations, and it covers the entire floor, covering a much large area as well as vertical areas as well. Looking back at the desk stations, what I talked about before, we've introduced a whole new V-series base stations, which cover both baseline as well as the high-end applications going V66 and V67. One of the big differentiators is that because we do door access, many of our phones from V67 to V65 cover video. So that if you have a door application that sends out video, you can couple those two so that you can display video on the phone and push a button and it'll go really wide and be able to answer doors just from one endpoint moving forward. Again, when you couple this with an Epygi engine, you can then become very creative in how you want to group calls and do backup calls using the combination of both their engine and ours. One of the things that Mario had mentioned earlier is qualifying both our V62, our V66 Pro. One of the things that differentiates us is that we're the first vendor to really provide this wireless Bluetooth handset on a base station. And when you go ahead and combine things for a really price-sensitive project, we're the first differentiator where you can actually take a wireless handset, which is really considered a luxury feature in terms of desk phones are concerned. We brought that down into a baseline phone that'll actually differentiate your quotation from everybody else. And that will provide sort of a nice luxury that you don't have to deal with cords, but is still providing a very premium feature set that you can do with your end products. Outside of the desk phones, we also have some features to talk about in our Wi-Fi Halo. This is something that we do speak with, but at the same time, we don't want to ignore some of the staple technologies that are in the business. So we do sell standard Wi-Fi phones that are just standard portable, as well as the W620, which is the Wi-Fi phone. The new feature about this one is that the 620, all of them consist of the unique DSS keys, which provides one touch. We're giving you about a process of covering 16 DSS keys right on the screen. But the nice thing about the 620 is that you can actually see the person, so that if a person were to call, you don't have to be by your desk. You could actually see whether it's UPS or FedEx at the door, push a speed dial key on this key, and it'll gladly open that door for you. At the same time, you know, we're not here to rank on deck. Many people devote their career on deck and feel comfortable. We also have a portable deck solution as well. I'm not going to go over some of the deck features, but finally conclude here where we have a healthcare and IP phone intercom solution. In the healthcare solution, we have an X305 that can be coupled with either a desk phone or an intercom solution. And what makes this unique is that these big phones are targeted toward assisted living situations where the keys are not only brailled, they're made bigger, and these function keys are enlarged so that you can see the picture of your grandchildren or what have you on these big function keys to make things work. One thing that makes it very unique is that we actually have a set of batteryless, and I key the word batteryless, is accessories that go along with this so that they can carry over their neck a lanyard that they can have that's batteryless, that they can press the SOS key, and it will uniquely pair to kicking off a health key and it'll actually alert either their relative or a central emergency office, which states that somebody needs help. They either slipped in the bathroom or somewhere else. And we also have auxiliary buttons that can be conveniently located in the bathroom or wherever desk functions that will communicate with either this intercom or perhaps this phone, and dialing the help key to make it worthwhile to know that somebody needs help in their offices. If you happen to be in a healthcare environment, we also have color lamps that you can actually pair up so that when it lamps, you can actually see down the corridor. You don't have to be by the actual emergency that somebody needs assistance, and you can actually signal whether you need a yellow key or a blue key or a green key to tell whether or not with the level of emergency. Very similar to how you would find in an airplane, whether someone had pressed a key, they need help in some way, shape, or form. And you could have a red key so that if you look down the corridor, you can actually tell who's actually set the alarm, and you can tell whether or not, and you can reset it to know everything is clear, and it'll display green or clear depending on how you want to program it. That kind of gives an overview about all the different solutions that we have, and I just want to show up and where to help. I have both Epygi and Fanvil here as the different references that you can take. And I want to mention to those who may have signed on late, you can download this presentation in the materials website on our site so that you can go ahead and reference this moving forward. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the questions Q&A so that both Mario and I will be able to address any questions that you might have. Starting with the first question, we have somebody here is, how detailed is your paging scheduler for school bell if they're a visual calendar? Actually, yes, on Fanvil's PA3, there's actually an internal schedule where you can mimic the scheduling so that you can actually have a SIM card that will actually have a pre-announced bell schedule or an announcement that will kick that off. So there is a calendar that will mimic it and will provide the ability for you to match whatever schedule that the school will be able to do. In addition, if you make modifications, you can also modify that schedule going through the GUI interface to make exceptions on holidays and things like that that might be able to help.
Mm-hmm.
Another gentleman is, there is targeted for Epygi, is there a smartphone application?
A smartphone? Well, eCall is a software phone. Is that what they
Okay.
mean by smartphone?
Yeah, that was the only application they put in there, you know. But
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, eCall is a soft phone that you can load up either on Apple or Windows. It's free. You'll download it from the stores, and then I'm sorry, Apple or Android, and then of
yep,
course we have an app you download from our portal for Windows. Okay,
yep.
so eCall is the solution for that.
On the Fanvil side, we do have a smartphone application relative to our door phones or our access control. You can go to either iOS for Apple or Android store, and you can actually download Fanvil Link, which provides a visual interface for you to go ahead and see on your mobile phone who's to answer. The next
Okay.
question is really related to Epygi. One person asked, can you connect PBXs together so multiple sites with multiple PBXs can transmit, you know, communications to each other?
Yeah, actually we do, and that's one of the what we call it the multi-site installation. In that case, you can have, for example, let's say you got Miami, Dallas, and Paris. You can put a box on each location, connect to local trunks. You can create what we call a unified dial plan. You'd have Miami with 100 to 150, Dallas 200 to 250, Paris 300 to 350, and so on. And then with a call routing table on the boxes, you can stitch it up so that when you call 200, you know, in Dallas from Miami, it goes directly to that PBX and rings those extensions. But furthermore, you can actually grab local trunks. You can, if you want to make a call in France, you can, from Miami, you can dial a French phone number. The routing table would know it needs to be sent to the box in Paris, and then we'll inject that call into the local PSTN trunk. And the same thing vice versa. You have a customer in Paris, they call in the auto attendant in France, and then they want to dial an extension in Miami. All they do is dial the extension. The call comes in via the internet to the box in Miami and rings your phone. So the answer is yes. We call it Unified Dial Plan, and it's done through the call routing table on the appliances.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mario. There's two following questions that are sort of related regarding to licenses. I'll mention them both, and you could probably address the last two questions here. The first question is this a monthly charge for the PBX or a one-time fee? Followed by question B, someone else raised, if we were to install an Epygi appliance for a client, is there an annual licensing?
Okay. So in the cloud PBX, we charge it monthly. You cancel anytime, and it could be anything down to $2 on extension a month. And again, you mark it up. Okay. It is redundant with the soft phone. All you need to do is add your SID trunk and any Fanvil hard phone you want to. And it is monthly. If you subscribe in the middle of the month, it's prorated. We'll charge you for that half month, and then the first of the following month and thereafter we'll bill you automatically. We do that through PayPal. In the case of the appliances, uh, there's no, if you buy an appliance, you don't have to buy any license for it. But if you do buy a license for expanding certain features, like let's say additional extensions, it is a one-time license, permanent. Okay, you will not have to renew that at all. All right, we do have one renewal license, but it has to do with call center where there's an activation and a renewal, but we also have that same license as a permanent one. So again, once you get one license, you don't have to renew it on the appliances. Okay.
Great. I believe those are the last and two final questions that have been addressed. All of them have been addressed. I'll stick around for another minute and see if there's any more that comes in. But in the meantime, until that happens, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Both Epygi and myself welcome your presence. Should you have any questions, I still kept the screen up. Feel free to go reach out to Epygi or Fanvil if you have any questions, and we'll be more than happy to help you along.
Yes, and let me add in, Tommy, that I thank everyone for the time today, and I want to stress what I was saying earlier is that call us, let us talk to you, help you out, understand what your needs are, because again, our team can bring you up to speed a lot faster, and that way you don't have to waste time if you do have an opportunity.
Great.
Right?
Thank you, Mario. I don't see any more questions. I think we can conclude this webinar for today. Any further
Thank
questions,
you
feel
all.
free to give us a call.
Have a great week. Thank you all.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everybody. Enjoy. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.